demonstrate trying. Like, try and pick up that pen. And people would try to pick up the pen. For example, I pick this up.
Yeah.
That's not me trying. I picked it up. There's no in between. There's no action for actually trying. And that's why, you know, that word try is irrelevant. It's non-existent. It's nothing. Say, and this, you know, it for me to be in this position that I'm in now, it's doing me so proud to work with other members from Northwest.
Yeah,
you know, and also, you know, black men as well.
You do amazing work.
I try.
You don't try. You do amazing work.
There you go. You're learning.
You just told me.
I just told you.
You do amazing
work.
work.
There's no such thing as trying. There's no action for trying. You either do or you don't.
I always say, I personally always say, trying is a fancy way of saying no.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you've never met.
Have we started now?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Are we good?
Yeah,
there was no intro.
We get in when we.
Oh, you get in. Okay,
we get in and we just, you know, we get in.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So trying it for me is a fancy way of saying
no.
Oh, I failed.
Yeah,
because you should just do.
Nah, you're right. As I said, like, so for me, there was a company that I used to work for, and you know, we used to actually get told off for using the word try, and it got to a point where the director of the company was like, demonstrate trying, like, try and pick up that pen, and people would try to pick up the pen. For example, I pick this up.
Yeah.
That's not me trying. I picked it up. There's no in between. There's no action for actually trying. And that's why, you know, that word try is irrelevant. It's non-existent. It's nothing. You either do something or you're not doing something.
No, I
remember that.
Just in case you're wondering why is there honey in a shot, you know, we just had some toast.
I had some toast
and honey. Keep it healthy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Koh-versations with myself, Francis Koh. All right, today is a special guest. We the most number one thing on planet Earth is relationships. You know, whether it's friendship, brother relationships, siblings, partners, and the key to relationship is communication. You know. And how do we communicate? Through words. Words are important. So today we got the man from Northwest who his wordplay is phenomenal. Like, listen, you probably know who he is, yeah? Well, obviously you've seen the clips, but his Instagram will be below.
There could be another. There's another part you could be talking about.
No. I'm gonna
from Northwest.
I'm gonna get into.
You're gonna get into that.
I'm gonna get into you. Why?
Okay.
Everyone would have thought of him, but I'm not saying he's not special.
Yeah.
But you guys are in different lanes.
Yeah.
Like you are in different lanes.
Shout out to my brother George as well.
Yeah, George.
For those who don't know,
George the poet. Different lanes.
Bro. Yeah, big bro. So yeah.
Talking about, all right, let's go into the different. So, you've been writing since 2017, right? Started performing 2018.
Yep.
You went to some town where it was not our people in the audience.
Bognor Regis.
Yep.
Chichester to be exact.
That's
Chichester.
the one.
Yeah.
Done the circuit there.
Yep.
As you leave, a lady tells you, "Are you published?" Then you tell her, "No, wow. That's my first one." Now, for that to happen,
yeah,
that speaks how great you are. We're gonna fast forward from that. We're gonna touch back on that if you want. Fast forward to that. How many poets do you think there is in the UK? Roughly, give me a number.
What's the population in the UK?
Give me a number.
What's that? The population in the UK? 64 million. All right, I'll say. What's that? 5%, so 10%, 6.4. Half of that, what's that? 3.2.
So roughly, give or take, there's 3.2 million poets. And
push, that's a large, isn't it?
You know what? Let's say 5,000. Let's say 500,000. Whatever it is. Within the first year, you came and won new newcomer in the poet industry.
I did.
Is that not special?
No, it was. And if you saw my speech, you know, which I was unprepared for, you saw how much that meant to me. And yeah, I won that award 10 months into my professional, or not even professional, my you know, my performing career. Yeah, 10 months after I done my first show in London, which was at the LOL show.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's how special you are. So you've had people been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And to make it even more special, listen, what we do here, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are just joining us, we congratulate people who do greatness and listen to their story and give us what they went through to achieve greatness at the level that they've done.
Yeah.
You didn't study no English. GCSE, you got B's. Right. That's still a good.
You know
good
so
enough,
much. Now you done your research.
It's good enough, you know.
Yeah.
And your wordplay is just phenomenal.
Thank you.
Where does that come from?
I'd probably say my mum.
Your mum's a
mum's a writer.
Yeah.
My mum's a writer. And I've always just liked words. I've always had a liking to words. Obviously, growing up in the garage era, I wasn't an MC, but I was interested in MC, and I would grab the mic and spit other people's bars. You know, I never wrote my own. But I've always had a liking to words, definitions, and meanings. And then, you know, when I left London and went through the trials and tribulations that I went through, that's what birthed my poetry career. Well, yeah, that's what unearthed, you know, that I had a writing capability and a writing potential.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't believe in technology, this man literally didn't even know how special his phone was. He was just writing words and then like, oh, that sound nice.
Literally.
And boom, he was born. So take me back. I want to go back to the day when you lost your job. Not lost what you got. You got made redundant. And
I got sacked.
You got sacked. He didn't do anything wrong. It was divine intervention, because that was a great moment, although you didn't realize that at the time, because that's what gave birth to one of your great projects that you're working on, which we'll touch on later. But tell us that, because that's so powerful. I say this because a lot of people, when they lose job or something happens to them, they don't realize there's another door opening.
Yeah. So June 24th, 2019. I lost my job. I got sacked. I got released from a job for gross misconduct. I work in sales, as I mentioned to you before. So and I was the top salesperson in that company, and there was a discrepancy with some sales, and they thought that I was manipulating the system. I wasn't. I was just really, really good at my job, but it's neither here or there. And so I got let go from that job, and I was on my way to a show in South London, and I rang Kojo. And I said, listen, Coach, I've just been let go from my job. You know, I really want to take this poetry thing seriously. You know, like, what can I do? And he said, like, what do you want to do? And I said, listen, I've got so many stories to tell. Like, I've got so many messages to just put out there. I just want to tell stories. So he said, all right, we're gonna create a show. You're gonna host the show. I'm gonna produce the show underneath the Black Magic Network. You go off and find the poets. I'll secure the venue, and we'll do that. So that idea was birthed June 24th. The Poetry Jam concept was birthed, and then we had our first show August 26th, 2019. So 2 and a bit months after.
And it was sold out.
Yeah,
just to let you guys know. First show, 2 months in the game, sold out.
Yeah.
Do you believe that's luck? Or is that your hard work, or that's just the energy clicking in place at the right time?
Yeah, I don't really believe in luck. I don't understand what luck is. I don't get it. So I don't really use that word so willy-nilly. So I just believe that it was, again, just divine intervention and everything just falling into place. You know, I'm a massive believer that what's that saying? Like, the world is but a stage and we are its actors. This has already been written. We're just acting out. Obviously, there's going to be a few, variances, but the end story, the ultimate story, is exactly the same. You are doing exactly what you are preordained to do.
So you say that I'm gonna challenge you. What happens if you don't find what you're doing, but you know you're unhappy at work? Let's say,
Yeah,
because the society we live in at the moment is money driven.
yeah,
They've designed it to where you need money to survive. And for a long time, I never used to believe that money was important.
yeah,
But I was wrong. Money is important. If you live in the Western world, money is everything.
yeah.
You know, because it allows you to have fun
Of
with
course.
the things that money don't buy, but
Yeah.
you need money to get there.
Yeah.
So what would you say to those people who are stuck in the day-to-day job?
Okay, so for the job that I do right now, it's really, really relative. Some people you either miss your calling, yeah, and there's so many signs on a daily basis, but unless you're in tune with yourself, you are going to miss those signs. You know, for the job that I do, so I work in the health and fitness sector, where the company that I work for is a training provider. So we sell personal training courses. So the conversations that I have on a day-to-day basis are with people who currently work in various different fields, but they want to become personal trainers. So I'm there, not necessarily their get out of jail free card, but I'm giving them an opportunity to make a difference. Now, it's funny that this is coming up now because I had this conversation today. When you inquire on our website, it creates a record for you. Yeah. So, and obviously as an advisor, I log the details of the conversation. And what you have is sometimes you have people who serial inquire. So you can see an inquiry that's come in from 2019 and they've re-inquired again. So you're having this conversation with someone. You're like, you could have been qualified by now. What are you not doing? Oh, you know, I had this to pay for. I had that to pay for. So like now with myself being established in my role, and having the confidence, because I've had many different conversations, I give it to people straight. Don't procrastinate. Don't, like, if you've got any intention of putting off something, then you've got, it's forever going to be undone. Because there's always something that's going to go on in life, whether it be a car payment, an illness, something. And people, we're so quick and easy to find an excuse to not do something. Whereas there are a very minute percentile of people who actually take action. That's the difference. That's literally the difference. The difference between the position that I'm in and not being in the position that I'm in is I actually done something. I gave it a go. I stepped out of my comfort zone. You know, taking it to words. Uncomfortable. The first part of that word is un. You have to experience uncomfortable before you get too comfortable.
Jesus.
That's your first gem. That's your first gem. And
welcome to FK Poetry Studio. Jeez.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people are not comfortable being in uncomfortable situations. Hence why they stay in their parameters, that little box. Whereas everyone in this room here, we've all taken a leap of faith. You know, why did you want to do all of this? But look at what you've got now. Your own studio, you know, decent equipment. You know, look at, and that all came from a concept to you taking action and follow through. Yes, you're going to have setbacks. We all do. It's going to happen. But nothing comes easy. And the most successful people in the world will tell you that a successful road is never straight. It's up, down, left, right. You got to go back sometimes. If you don't learn your lesson, you're going to keep repeating that lesson until you pass that class. The same things are going to keep coming up in life until you pass that class. So that's the difference between, you know, to home it in, to those people who don't, you know, make something of their life. They need to take accountability because it's their fault. It's their fault. It's nobody else's.
Oh, that's powerful, because I believe for a lot of us, the situation we find ourselves in, it's not our fault. You know, either our parents moved from whatever, we got there or so. But if we stay in that situation, that's our fault. You know, getting to there, you know,
wait, say that again. Just so
the situation that we find ourselves in, some cases, it's not our fault. You know, like
to a degree.
Like for example, Northwest London.
Yep.
I strongly believe, I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
If we grew up with certain areas with certain mentors and certain people, guiding us,
Mm-hmm.
we could have achieved greatness at a younger age, right?
Yeah.
So that's not our fault that we find ourselves there, parents, council, whatever.
Yeah.
But if we stay there,
Mm-hmm.
we have to take accountability for that.
Yes and no. And I'm just gonna obviously speak on about myself because obviously this is I can only go by my experiences.
Yes.
So I grew up in Church Road. Yeah, I was around drugs and whatever other craziness that was going on. However, I didn't need to, not that I was a straightforward person. Yeah, I dabbled on both sides of the law, both right and wrong. But I knew that I knew the life that I didn't want to have from a very, very young age. I knew the life that I didn't want to have. And I can honestly say, like, most of us in this room, your environment doesn't necessarily define who you are. You don't have to be a product of your environment. And I always say that everywhere I go. Yeah, I'm from Northwest London. Like, I love the area that I come from. I love the tools, the survival kit that it gave me to face life. But I'm not defined, I'm not a victim of circumstance. And again, I found this in my adult age, in my later age, just from having conversations and being around different, different calibers, different calibers of people, the affluent, the rich, the poor, whoever, like, you don't have to, because of, you coming from a certain era, it doesn't stop or hinder you from progression. That's down to you. That's your choice, because there's so many people who have changed their life coming from where we come from. And I'm going to name a few.
Please do.
You've got myself, Northwest London.
Terrell Lewis.
You've got George the poet.
George the poet.
St. Raph's. You've got Raheem Sterling, Church Road. You've got Big Zeke's, Harlesden. You've got Nines, Church Road. Gapper Ranks,
Church Road.
You know what I mean? Tubby T.
Seal.
You know what I'm trying to say? Just keeping it Northwest London. So these are people who grew up around the same things that we grew up in. Had pretty much starting off had the same education. Obviously, George went to Cambridge. No, it was Oxford. He went to Oxford. He went to Oxford, yeah. But you understand. So you're never a victim of circumstance. That comes down to you. That is your decision. That is your choice. If you wake up tomorrow and just say, I don't want to do this. That's your choice. We have free will. You can't blame anybody else. And that's what it comes down to. So this is why, I don't, that kind of argument of, like, even when I do go back to, the end sometimes, and I see certain people that I grew up with, and they're like, like, you made it, and I don't like when they say that. And the reason why I don't like when they say that is because, like, we at one point in our life, we were both on the same level. We were playing in the same field. We was in the same school. We had similar opportunities. But where I chose to go right, you chose to go left.
So how can we reinforce people out there to go right? Because you touched on something very important. We are in the same area. We see the same things. And as you said, I'm glad I grew up where I grew up.
Yeah.
Because it gave me something that you called survival tool. That tool, it's so powerful, and I use it on a daily basis. I actually don't realize I'm using it. And every time I'm like, okay, I see where I get that from.
Yeah.
So, because some people, being in the ends is beautiful. Like, you get a different vibe.
Yeah.
How can we encourage others to see that vibe, that this is not, there's a better vibe somewhere else, so to speak?
At this precise moment, in my opinion, I'd probably say we've got a very hard battle because of us being in the digital era. So obviously, a lot of things are on social media platforms, but the things that are glamorized on social media are the things that are not necessarily the most positive. So in terms of the gang life, the bad boy look, the bad boy image. Let's go with that. I'm gonna address it as that. So the bad boy image is glamorized. You know, to some people, having a 9 to 5 isn't cool. Do you know what I mean? So it's really, and this generation now, they're not as receptive to, like a multitude of different avenues. They just think there's either option A or option B. They don't want to give themselves multiple different options. It's that's, what's that saying? Like, slow money's better than no money. But to them, because you've got so many different. You've got you can be an Instagram influencer. There's so many different ways you can make fast cash, and that's all they're seeing. High life, glitz and glamour, watches, cars, jewelry, clothes. They're seeing all of these things, and it's heavily pushed on social media.
But there's one thing they don't see. To get to that stage that it looks glamorized, like to get to the stage where you are now, we look at you, it's like, oh, Jesus. There's hours that goes in behind every single piece you put together.
Yeah.
Obviously, you find it easier than most. If me and you was to give them 10 hours to come up with a piece, I don't know if I would come up with any piece. I would, but it wouldn't be as good as yours. But it's your talent. But still, the hours go behind that. And they just don't get it.
No, and that's what I'm saying to you. Because everything is so, nowadays, everything is so accessible. It's easy. It's so easy to, everything's at a click of a button. Whereas we grew up in an era where we had to graft. Like, we're the last, I'd probably say the 80s babies and 90s babies are the last of a generation who are not afraid of rolling up their sleeves and getting their hands dirty. The millennials, Generation X and Z, or whatever they're called now, it's a click of a button. Even down to food delivery. Uber Eats, click of a button. Even in our generation, we still had to call a pizza shop and say, yeah, we want this, this, and this. Where now, you don't have to talk to no one. It's all here. It's all accessible. These are all devices.
Wow.
So, what I'm trying to say? So this is why, we've got a really hard battle on our hands, in terms of, changing the narrative and getting them to see things from a broader scope and a broader perspective. It's difficult. I'm not saying that it's not achievable, but it's difficult, and it's going to take a lot more of us than what we have now. But then also as well, we need to have access to the resources to do it. Social media platforms, TV, radio. Our reach, our immediate reach only goes so far. We need people in those positions who can flick the button to do one post and reach 50 million people, the whole of the UK, the whole of Europe. So we've started momentum, but it's a process.
To you, how important is it that there's people in your position doing what they are doing, greatness, to the young ones from the ends who can look up to say, yeah, I want to be like him?
Very important. And one of the most humbling things for myself was I went to St. Mary's Primary School in Church Road. That's where I went to. And, 20 odd something years later, I've gone back there to teach one of my poetry workshops. My head teacher, Susan Lawrence, Susan Lawrence, my head teacher, hired me. So my own primary school paid me. I've come back and I've taught one of my poetry workshops to the next generation of kids. That was a humbling experience because that was, that's my connection to my own personal community. And I'm having an influence on the next generation. Someone who looks like them, comes from the same place they come from. I played on the same streets, the same swings, walked the same route as them. It's so important because for me, growing up, I personally didn't have a role model. I never had a role model. There was no one that I honestly aspired to be. And call it arrogance, but I'm always in competition with myself. As cliche as it sounds, I'm always in competition with myself. I'm always trying to be better than the yesterday version of Terrell.
That's the best person to be in competition.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like in terms of like now, with everything that I'm doing, the person who I would say that or the business brand that I'm trying to emulate would be Russell Simmons, Def Jam. That's the concept. That's the goal. That's the brand.
Well, based on the speed of light, and I mean speed of light that you're traveling through in your career.
Yeah.
You're on your way.
Do you know from do you know exactly what it is? You know when you travel in an airplane, yeah? This is the analogy. When you travel in an airplane, you can't feel what's going on outside of that aircraft. But on the outside of that aircraft, you're going, what airplanes are like 400 miles an hour or 500 miles an hour. Probably. Yeah. About that 500 miles an hour on the outside of the aircraft. And that's exactly what it is for me right now. I'm on the inside of this Tyrell airplane.
Man is envisioning his own airline.
No.
Jesus,
no,
ladies and gentlemen, he's putting it out there.
But just to explain and give you an understanding to how I feel in this moment. You know, I'm in my own aircraft. There's obviously there's a little bit of turbulence, but there's the majority of it is a stillness. But to the outside world, Terrell's flying. He's shoom. I can't see that. I don't feel that. To me, I'm just enjoying this journey until I get to that destination. But to everybody outside of me, even when you guys tell me, you know, you're doing great, that, you know, this, you know, the accolades, the appreciation, not that I don't. It registers, but it's very surreal for me. Like I'm not there yet. I'm not like at that point where I can sit back in my chair and be like, wow, you're
never gonna get there now.
Yeah,
because
and that's probably what's gonna just keep driving me. Yeah, because the destination will probably keep changing.
But you see that the interesting thing is most people say I'm in my own lane. Mm-hmm. Terrell said, I'm in my own aircraft.
No, but that was the analogy.
I don't care how you put it. Most people say, I'm in my own car. I'm in my own lane, driving 100 miles an hour. He said 400 to 500 miles an hour. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm in my own boat.
Yeah, that's it. Whatever's relative, whatever's relative, you know what I mean, relevant to yourself. You know what I mean?
No, that is beautiful. Talking about your work rate.
Yeah.
Take us through the process it takes from the moment the idea is conceived about writing a piece to when you're delivering it. What are the process? What are the stages like?
You know what? It depends. So, I have, again, this is all part of my my creative writing workshops that I deliver in school. So I have a 4-stage writing process. The first stage is perception. So perception is obviously your understanding, your interpretation of a particular subject matter. A person's perception is a person's reality, yeah? And this is based upon all of our experiences and how we view and shape the world to make it our own. So that's the first thing. The second part is the concept. So from my perception, I now create an idea. The third phase is writing. So I articulate that idea from here onto a piece of paper or into my phone. And then the fourth phase is performing it. So that's my 4-stage creative writing process. Depending upon my connection to that subject matter, it could either be a short or long process. There's certain things that I write quicker than others. It just depends on what it is. So it can vary. There's pieces that I've it's funny because I looked at my phone the other day and there was something that I started last year and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that one. I'm gonna add it to this one. So it just kind of depends what the subject matter is, what state of mind I'm in, where I am emotionally, what my connection is to the subject, etc. So some things can be shorter, some things can be fast. Depends.
So which part of those 4 stages you say is crucial?
It's crucial.
Yeah.
Ooh.
As a performer, so as a poet, I'm starting this game, so someone's watching it,
Yeah.
and they're lost. Obviously, as time goes, each part will develop. So which part would you say, let's focus more on this for now until we get to that?
No, but you know, well, the first stage, stage number one is perception, because that's your understanding to the subject. Obviously, each stage is equally as important as the other, because they're interlinked. But that first initial stage, perception, that's phase one. That's ground zero. You can't progress onto concept or writing or performing if you don't have an understanding of the subject matter. So you need to, perception is so important. For example, if I told you to write a piece about quantum physics, do you have an understanding of quantum physics?
Who?
Exactly. Exactly. There you go.
Who's that, ladies
exactly.
and gentlemen?
So you can't even start your perceptive process because you don't have an understanding about it. So perception, having an understanding of the subject matter, if you're ranking it, that's the most important thing. Because you can't write about something if you don't have an understanding. How can I give you an experience about something I've never experienced or I don't have a connection with? It's not genuine.
But don't you find a lot of performers out there, they've got everything, but they lack that stage presence. They can't really connect to the audience or the viewers.
Yeah, and this is something that I've learned during my time being a performer and also a member of the audience. And this is just for me. And this is why I have the process that I have with my show, because I've been to many of events and there's open mic and signing up, and not to take discredit any of the artists out there who are performing, because I don't know what stage they're at in their careers. But for me as an artist, I have to learn, I have to nail my pieces. That's just me. That's just my perfectionism. My nature, my characteristic of just getting it right. You guys are paying money to see me. I can't pay money to go and see Beyonce and she's messing up on her songs. You wouldn't do that. So that's the mindset that I'm in.
Because you're a perfectionist, then.
I strive for excellence. I want to say I'm a perfectionist because I strive for excellence. I think perfection is like an illness, because some people just go crazy like when they're trying to perfect something. So I strive for perfection. I strive for excellence. Yeah.
It's a wordplay, it's a wordsmith. Don't worry. So we just few months back last year, we were going through the Corona process, lockdown, and you wrote a piece on Corona, and that was interesting. I personally wouldn't say it's anywhere near your best piece.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't want to offend you. Just my personal. But
that's great.
No,
I love that. I love the honesty. No, but I love the honesty.
I'm being honest.
I love that. I really love that. No, I love that.
It's a good piece that it stayed with me.
Yeah.
But it's not anywhere near your best.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
So
it's the my best piece.
But
I enjoyed writing
it. Because there was a message in there. JV, what are you doing?
Yo, that is funny. But it's like
Can we carry on the show?
It's like having an album. Not all the songs on the album are gonna be great. You might have one particular one that you like, so it's fine. I can appreciate that. That's cool.
But there was one piece. There was a part of it, not word for word. I can't recite word for word. There's a part of it where you basically say, "Well, we shouldn't complain that we're stuck inside the house because the NHS workers are working 24/7 and they're putting their lives at risk."
Yeah, the NHS are doing their best to save as many lives. 24/7, that job is suicide, and all we have to do, oh God, I can't remember it. So all we have to do is, I can't remember because I haven't performed the piece in so long. Hold on, 24/7. Hold on, the NHS are doing their best to save as many lives. 24/7, that job is suicide, and all we have to do is get comfy, stay home, and just chill inside. Yeah.
Yes.
Or stay home and eat food and just chill inside or stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. So along those lines.
Where was you going in that mess? Were you saying we should appreciate what the NHS are doing, or we should appreciate that we're taking time out and really work on our craft?
It's a combination of both. So I've got immediate family members, my mum being one, who actually works in the NHS. You know, and speaking to people who work on the front line, who key workers. At the time I was really close with a young lady, a nurse, who worked on the COVID ward. So I was getting first-hand experiences of what it was like on the ward. You know, and I just took that, and she actually caught COVID as well. She caught COVID, and she beat it. But I took that and I put that into, that piece, because I didn't, for me personally, I don't know what it's like on the front line. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not trying to discredit what they do. You know, it's crazy. And that's why I said the line that I said. You know, they weren't resting.
Yeah, because
they were on job. They were literally on job.
That hit me hard. I'm like, you know what? I was complaining, I'm not getting no work. I'm inside, and I was like, Jesus, there people actually. That hit me hard. Yeah,
man. So the crazy thing about my writing process, sometimes I don't know how I come up with some of the things that I write. And the funny thing about it is, the majority of the time I'm writing by myself, but I would come up with like a line or a bar, and I'd be like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. That's the one. But there's no one around me. I'm just like laughing to myself. Or I'll phone the person I always phone is his name's Mr. Reed. It's like my general, another spoken word artist that I built a really beautiful friendship with. But yeah, he was the guy that I'll always phone if I'm writing a new piece, or if I've got like writer's block or something. He's been in the game a lot longer than me.
Talking about pieces, talk to me about fear.
Fear.
That one. That one I was like, yeah.
So fear was my my appreciation piece to mental health. For for me going through depression. And the crazy to say that now, you know what I mean, like years down the line, I actually went through depression. But like being the person who I am, the character who I am, this confident character, I was unaware that I was going through depression. I just thought, like, I didn't even want to use that word. I was like, nah, everything's fine. But then when I deep it now, and I look at some of the things that I was doing. So for example, I was battering Ben and Jerry's ice cream, the tubs. I was doing like one a day. I was comfy eating.
Is that
but depression? I didn't even know. No, I didn't know. No, but the thing is, I didn't even know. Like I was literally battering like the tubs, like one a day. And the thing is as well, so as a kid, I used to have what is it? Is it eczema or eczema? Black people say eczema, innit? It was eczema.
I thought it was the other way around.
Or eczema.
I thought like black people say
eczema, eczema. Is that what I'm trying to say? Where is it? As a kid, I used to have that. And
I say eczema.
eczema.
I say eczema.
Eczema, innit? Eczema. Both right, whichever one it is, innit? Yeah. But I used to have that as a kid, innit? And what used to trigger it and make my skin flare up was sugar. Because I always used to have like biscuits and sweets and cakes. And I was battering these tubs. And my eczema, I don't even have it no more. But my skin started to flare up bad. I lost a lot of weight. I don't even remember certain things that happened during that period. Like I've got black spots in my memory, things like that. And then, like I had therapy. I had a therapist because it was affecting my productivity at work. So we had an agreement with like Bupa, So I had a therapist, etc. So to be in a position, when I was on the mend, and going through this whole writing journey and starting to articulate my thoughts and my emotions, I wrote that piece. That was a sign of my strength, and that was like, you know what? You didn't let that stop you from continuing your journey, because not everyone's here today to even speak about their trials, you know, the struggles that they go through with mental health, especially as a man, but most importantly as a black man, because we're not taught, you know, in the black community, in the black home, you know, if a boy cries, the dad's first thing is, what are you crying for? What are you crying for? Stop crying. You know, we're not allowed to cry. It's wrong for us to cry. You know what I'm trying to say? And we're conditioned that way from such a young age, where we don't know how to express our emotions, even articulate our emotions. You know, our intuitive response is, I'm fine, I'm okay. Which is funny because I'm actually writing a piece about that as well. But, you know, so I had to uncondition myself and really learn to not suppress my emotions and really be true and authentic to literally how I'm feeling. So, for example, like now, if you ask me, you know, like, how are you? If I'm having a bad day, I'm going to tell you, like, you know, I feel like shit. You know, I'm not okay. Because you've asked the question, you be prepared for the answer.
Is that something you learn through therapy because that's very important what you just said.
Yeah, no, yeah. So I learned that through therapy. So the one thing that I take away from therapy is being honest to yourself, because and I don't know how many people do or don't do this, but for me, I wasn't honest to myself, and that was from an emotional perspective. Me saying that I was okay when I wasn't okay.
Why is that? Is that a way of suppressing, or we don't understand? Are we in survival mode?
Yes, yeah, for me, yeah. So that was survival, because, you know, like again, conditioning as a kid. So growing up, you know, like my mum, yeah. So my mum not necessarily like she never showed any signs of weakness, but she always just plodded on. So that was a behavior that I adapted or took on from my mum. You know what I mean? In terms of not necessarily talking about it, or when asked that question, no, I'm fine, I'm okay. You know, so I learned that behavior from a really, really young age and took it into my adult life. So when people ask me that exact same question, my intuitive response was, nah, I'm fine, I'm okay. I just get on with it. Suppress, push it down. But then what then happens is it comes out in other behaviors, where you can be passive aggressive, you can be forgetful. You know, I was forgetful. I was literally forgetting to do basic things, or I would get something wrong and get upset. Like, for example, I remember the thing that sent me my breaking point, my actual breaking point, where I got signed off of work. I went to London to go and I think I just went to go see my mum. This when I was living in country. Yeah, I went to London to go see my mum. I had my and I take my laptop with me everywhere I go, just in case I need to do something. But I left my charger, my MacBook charger, at my mum's house, and I got back to Portsmouth. Whilst I was driving, my sister rang my phone, but I didn't answer the phone. So when I got back to Portsmouth, I looked at a WhatsApp message from my sister, and she took a picture of my charger. And I panicked. Like, I shut down. Like, I couldn't, I was on the phone to my PA at the time, yeah. And I literally just broke down. That literally just broke me, because I was in Portsmouth, which was hour and 45 minutes away from London. I had my laptop. All of my work is on my laptop. How much battery do I have on my laptop? I don't want to drive back to London. I've got work. I panicked. Like, literally, that was it. I broke. I actually started crying because it was mad. It's as silly as well, not that it was silly. Obviously, it was the relevant emotional response at the time. But that broke me. That day just broke me. So I was on the phone to my PA, and she handled it. So she long story short, she just ordered a new charger from Argos. So I drove to Argos, collected the charger. So now I've got 2 chargers. And I went back to London and got my charger at another time. And then she told me to ring my GP and explain that, you know, I'm under a lot of stress at work, whatever. And I got signed off. I got signed off from work. So I was off work. Somewhere between they signed me up for 3 weeks, and then had like a review of if I was ready to go back to work or whatever. And I just said, you know, I extended it. I think all in all, I was probably off work for about like maybe 6 or 9 weeks. I was off work because it was that bad.
Intense.
It was that intense.
Wow, it's
You know what I mean?
it's powerful because even you just saying the word therapist,
Yeah.
where we from, you can't say
You can't say that.
saying
You know what I
it.
mean? Don't tell people your business.
man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So let's touch back on the time when you were depressed. What was that like? Because a lot of people, because what's intriguing what you said is you didn't realize you was going through it at the time.
Yeah.
What are the telltale signs apart from overeating Ben and Jerry ice creams or 10 donuts or Krispy Kremes, whatever? What can young men or even young women for that matter look to and say, okay, I need help?
Obviously, it's case dependent, you know, because there's different types and levels of depression. For me personally, it was my eating and my absent-mindedness or forgetfulness, so to speak. So that was those were my signs. You know, for other people, it could be different things. You know what I mean? So there's you obviously. The thing is, yeah, from an outsider looking in, you can potentially understand, like, if I was around you every single day, yeah, I would obviously learn your behaviors. And, you know, from learning your behaviors, I can potentially pick up when you're not doing something right. But how many of us are confident to let our loved ones know that, you know, you need to get some help? How open, how receptive are we to have these conversations? So where, for me personally, like now, where I've been through it, I've got through the other end of it with my immediate social group now. Yeah. My friendship circle, my brothers. Yeah. We got a WhatsApp group called, Bros for Life. So these are guys that went from hey with up here. We're a lot more open. We're a lot more open in that group. We talk about any and anything. There's no judgment. And that's a powerful thing for men, you know, just being able to talk freely without any particular judgment. Women got, you know, because women got it. Not that they have it easier than men.
It's innate in them.
But it's just, it's innate in them. It's not a natural thing for a man to talk. Like, I tell you the thing that we do, like most men do, or men that I know, we diagnose ourselves based upon our friends' condition. You would call your brethren, hey, blood, like,
he's
did
fucked
you have this?
up.
Did you have this? Oh, you had this? Okay, I must be all right then. If you hear, and that's what we do. And we just don't go to the doctor. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's just, I don't know why we do that. But that's just something that, you know what I mean, that we do. So, you know, as I said, so now I'm in a position to identify certain telltale signs, and you know, if I do catch wind of anything, you know, I'm confident enough to provide somebody with some information and put them in touch with people who have helped me, etc. Or even if they want to talk to me, you know. So just going back to that the piece of fear, that was me looking back and saying, yo, T, like, you were there at one point. Now you're here. But don't forget, you know, that part of you. Because that's a massive part of you. That if you didn't go through that, you wouldn't get this version of Terrell Lewis. I had to go through that. I had to break. I had to rebuild myself, reinvent myself. So that's why I would never forget. That's why that piece is so important to me. Because
that's one of your, for me, that's one of your best pieces.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that's like one of my most like raw, uncut pieces. You know, talking about it.
And you had one for the ladies, the Nubian queens.
Oh,
Sound.
The black woman. Yeah,
that one. Who did you write that one for? What? If you don't mind me asking.
Nah, do you know what? So, black woman. Yeah. All right. So my daughter's mum, my eldest daughter's mum. She who introduced me
to poetry.
Yes. Yeah. She introduced me to poetry. And you know, she's very, very pro-black. Not racist, but she's pro-black. You know, and she said, you know, you should write a piece about, you know, black women, She gave me the idea ages ago. And the thing is as well, the Black Woman, I think I wrote that probably around, like 2017, 2018, like when I first started. But I never done anything with it. I just left it there. And that's the thing. I've got pieces that are just there and I'm just sitting on them. I'm just waiting to kind of like use them. But she gave me the idea to write that piece. And then how the opportunity presented itself to me, again, it was written in the stars. Like, it was written in the stars. So, all right. So obviously you saw the footage of the Black Woman poem, which was at the Black Magic Awards. Okay. I wasn't even supposed to be at the Black Magic Awards. So I already performed at the previous event, which was dedicated to Black men. Yeah.
You went to the women.
Yeah. So okay, cool. So Kojo rings me, I think a week or a couple of days before. And he's like, yo, do you wanna perform again at the Black Magic Awards, the women's edition? No, sorry, I'm lying. Sorry, let me go back. I rang him and I said, listen, can I get 2 tickets? Because I want to come. He's like, yeah, I'll put your name on the door. Then he says, you want to perform? I was like, yeah, cool, no problem, I'll perform. So he was like, all right, cool. We're dedicating it to Black women. Do you have something? I was like, yeah, I got something for you.
Which you didn't.
No, I
you already did.
I already did.
Was it finished?
It was already written. It was already written. But I've never performed at this point. I never performed it.
Okay.
Never performed it. Yeah, never performed it. It was just in my phone. Yeah, cool. So the day comes, and there's 5 of us. So for the poetry cipher, there's 5 poets. So Kojo hears everybody's piece, and then that's how he determines who's gonna go first, second, third, whatever. So obviously, we all do our pieces, but then he hears my piece and he puts me last, innit?
Right thing to do.
You know what I mean? So he puts me last. So then obviously the show starts. It's the poetry section. So we get out of our seats, we go to the backstage, and obviously the performance starts. And then obviously you've seen the footage. You see what happens there after that.
Jeez, listen.
I mean, yeah, you see what happens after that, man. And again, I can't even fathom the reach of that poem. I don't know the numbers. I would honestly say I'll probably say I've done more than 1 million views in terms of like WhatsApp, Facebook, everything. I can't track it. I can't.
Very empowering.
People still send it to me now. Like I had women in Africa, Australia, some parts of Europe messaging me. I've got even till now. I had a message the other day. So this woman, like, she listens to it every day as part of her daily affirmation, and it's like, wow.
I think you should write a piece about her.
I'd have to go back in my DM and find the woman.
Maybe don't.
No, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's again, you know what I mean? It's like, for me, that piece is very well received, and I still get asked to perform that piece. You know, and I will never be able to comprehend what it means to the Black woman.
It's powerful.
To hear it. I won't be able to comprehend it. I can try to, but I don't think I'll ever understand what those words fully mean to the woman. But I meant everything that I said in that poem. Wholeheartedly.
That is beautiful. Talking about performing last, Kojo put you up on performing last at that event. Let's go forward to your show.
Okay.
You know that. Obviously, we know where it came from.
Yeah.
How much did it mean to you to have your own show? Because you could easily say to Kojo at the time on the phone, Kojo, book me on so many different shows.
Yeah.
Or where can I go? But you wanted your own show.
The thing is, I didn't even want my own show. I just knew that I wanted to perform. Like, I just wanted to tell stories and spread messages. It was Kojo's idea. He's the one who said, all right, you're going to have your own. Oh, sorry, he said, we're going to create our own show. You're going to host it. I'm going to produce it. So Kojo gave me that opportunity, and together we built a platform. Do you know what I mean? But to have my own show like now, again, it's something surreal. And why it's so surreal? Because of its growth in 2 years. It's
crazy.
That name, like the Poach Jam, like the
It sounds
The
like it was
things-
something that was there in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
trying
it
to
just
say, like,
sounds
yeah,
so right.
the things that it's been associated to, like it's crazy. Like the people, the types of people that are having conversations about my show. I'm talking celebrities that I've had conversations with, and even just down to, you know, like just general members of the public. Like the feedback that I get, it's like there's obviously there's spoken word has been around for, you know, way before myself, and I'm not saying that you know, my show is the best show, but it's one of the best shows, you know, out there currently right now. And I've been to quite a few shows.
We have been as well to a lot
Yeah.
of shows.
You know what I'm trying to say?
And I can 100% concur with you.
Yeah.
But I have a problem with your show.
This guy's just taking shots. Go on, where's your issue?
No,
we
no.
like feedback. No, we like feedback.
I'm not
'Cause I
taking
wanna make
shots.
it great. I want to make it better.
I'm not taking shots. This
I wanna
is,
make- yeah,
this
this is
is
good.
construct.
This
This
is
is criticism.
Controversy. Yeah, I like this. It's controversial. Go on. What's your problem with my show?
So it's your show.
Yeah.
Right? Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you host it.
Yeah.
Right? And the problem I have is when you perform on your show. That's the problem I have. All right. So before I get into the problem I have,
Yeah.
I asked you this off set.
Yeah.
Do you understand how good you are as an artist?
No, I don't think I ever will.
I'm gonna give you some idea, right?
Yeah.
In 2 years,
Yeah.
2.5 years, you've been doing this for
3 years in December.
3 years in December. Sorry, you're doing this. So 2.5 years. Three.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to mess me up for?
Go.
Why
Sorry.
are you trying to do this?
Sorry.
I think he's now firing shots at
No, I'm
me.
not.
you know?
I'm not. Yeah. But yeah, go on.
What you have achieved.
Yeah.
Can you name me anyone in your industry who's achieved that in a short space of time that you have?
No, I can't.
So that's an idea of how good you are. So we're going to put that to rest now.
Okay. Yeah.
So before I carry on, let's go back to your first ever performance at LOL.
December 16th, 2018.
Can you describe that feeling?
Yeah, I felt
Because someone
sick.
gave you a hug, and why did that? Why was you given
Oh,
that hug?
God. Donna Spence.
Why did she give you that hug?
Because I was that nervous.
Why was you nervous?
I was nervous because of the magnitude of that show.
What made that show so?
The names, number one, the names and the area.
I'm gonna stop you right there. The names, right?
Yeah.
Richard Blackwood, Koji the comedian, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say those people are good at what they do?
100%.
All right, so now we're gonna fast forward to your show now.
Okay.
I'm performing at your show.
Yeah.
Your show. Half of the fans, if not all of them, come to see you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're that good. And you go before me. That's stress.
That's not stress.
That's stress for me as a performer.
It's not.
How are you telling me it's not stress? Because you went through the same stress at LOL the first time.
No, it's not. It's not stress. And I tell you why it's not stress. I don't think it's stress because the caliber of the artist, the standard of the artist that I'm bringing on stage alongside myself, these are seasoned artists.
I get that. I understand and I appreciate that.
Okay.
But I'm saying you're just raising the bar way too high.
Is that a bad thing?
For them, yeah.
Well, they haven't complained or said anything to me. They haven't made mention of it.
Why would they?
They haven't made mention of it.
If would you ever book me on a show? I definitely wouldn't complain. I got a piece I'm working on still.
Yeah, that's fine. Not a problem at all.
Would you book me on?
I'd need to hear it. So we have a actual vetting process. I'd have to review the footage with my team.
Maybe it's just best if I just do it on the
No, I'm being
spot.
serious. Look, if you want to perform it,
if you
not a problem.
hear it, I might not make.
If you want it,
No, but honestly, going back to, I think
yeah,
that's the only thing I would change on your shows. I will definitely.
You wouldn't
put
say
you
I wouldn't
last.
perform.
No,
Oh, maybe
no,
last.
No, you have to
All
perform.
right, okay, cool. You know what? Okay, cool. So you know what? I will perform my show. Obviously, I got a show on Monday. I won't open.
You do your
I'll
thing.
open up. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I won't perform. I'll close the show. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay, cool. I'll close the show.
Bro, you're good.
Yeah, no, I'll
And
close the
I'm
show.
not just saying that.
I'll close the
You know
show.
how good you are, and I've actually proven to you how good you are.
I appreciate
You've proven it because you're on your own plane. You're not on the road. You're on your own plane.
won't let the plane go,
You're
you know.
that good. No.
Yeah.
So with that,
Yeah.
what advice would you give a young poet, male or female, who's trying to get to where you are?
Authenticity. 100%. Authenticity, through and through, meaning do not, obviously you can get influence from people who you like, in terms of like their style or whatever, but be authentic to yourself. And what I mean by that for me is, I got into poetry. Initially it was like it was an outlet. Yeah, I got into poetry because it was an outlet. It was a way for me to express the things that I wasn't able to express before. Yeah. So for anyone who's getting into poetry like now, it's so important that they're themselves, because the stories that they're going to tell, the things that they're going to share, if it doesn't represent who you are, you're not going to have that same connection. It's about connection. I can't stress how much it is about connection. With every piece that I've written, there is an element. Some pieces I'm connected with, more than others, but there's a part of me in every single one of those pieces. Every piece that you've listened to or read, or any visual that you've seen, that's another piece that I've given to you guys. That's my authenticity right there. In every single one of those pieces, like my words, like those are my words. That's my gift to you lot, you know what I mean? Like, those are my words. I wrote those words. That is every emotion that I was feeling at that time, constructed and formulated in a context for you to read. Wow. Or receive. So yeah.
That is authentic.
It's important.
And I guess people buy into you.
Now, yeah, I understand that now. I do believe that now. Yeah.
Because if I then try to emulate you, then people will see that through me. Then I'm not getting nothing from Francis. So that
but I wouldn't even want you to emulate me. Be you, because no one can be you better than you.
And that's key, because a lot of people out there that just see what's popping. I'm gonna do that.
Nah, man, no one can be you better than you. Like, I can't do what you do. I can't.
You probably can. I definitely can't do what you do.
No, I can't do what you do. I can't. I can't do what you do. You know what I'm trying to say? Your visual creativeness, your ideas, like all of this. As I said to you offset, I know what my strengths are. And that's why I said to you why I've said to you that I want to work with you on certain projects, because
you heard it, ladies. It's on camera. He can't go back.
I'm not gonna backtrack.
It's on camera.
No, we're gonna have a conversation after this. You know what I'm trying to say?
You're not invited to this.
Yeah. So I know what my strengths are. I know what I'm good at. Like, I'm not, technically gifted or visually gifted to do this kind of stuff. I stay in my lane. I can fleet and skeet in between. I can give my 2 pence, but I'm not gonna step into your realm. Like when I work with like videographers and things like that, and and I'm shooting videos, I give you guys full creative autonomy. I like to see how you guys think, and for me, it's and I've created some really good relationships that way. I'm just the artist. Like, for me, how I work, I'll just write the piece, I'll record it. But you're the videographer. Bring it to life. Bring the visuals. Give, have that autonomy to do that. So I leave you in your space to just get on with it and direct me. No matter how big I get in this thing, if I'm working with you and we're shooting a video, I'm gonna listen to you and take direction from you, regardless if I'm paying you or not, because I'm paying you to do a job. Number one. So I need to be able to take direction from you. And even as an artist, and in order for me to grow and get better, I need to take direction and feedback on board. Hence why I'm open to what you've just said in terms of, like the problem that you have with my show. I respect that. You know what I mean?
No, it's not a problem. It's not a problem.
An issue.
It's just to put other performers at ease and deliver without the pressure.
No, I understand.
That's just my
cool.
Observation.
Yeah. And I appreciate that.
I want to touch on something very quickly, because doing what I do, I
Yeah.
do a lot of things, and
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, how do you do this? How do you do this? You've been doing this for a very long time, and you have meetings with people who are up there. You run your own businesses, not businesses.
Yeah.
You're a father. You are your own person.
Yeah.
You got your sisters run things for you. You got relationship with friends and this.
Yeah.
And we all, the one thing everyone on this planet has is 24 hours in common. We have that. How do you make time? No, I say that. This is actually because a lot of people call, oh, I don't have time. Oh, I don't have time.
Okay.
So now I'm leading to the fact that if you can do it with everything that you got going on, and you got 24 hours.
Yeah.
How do you do it? How do you manage your time?
Easy. Okay. So lockdown taught me a lot about time. And I don't know if you heard the piece that I've written called Time.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, cool. Perfect. So my whole understanding and concept of time has actually changed in terms of lockdown. We complained that we had too much time. Whereas before lockdown came, people were complaining that they don't have enough time. And I never believed that. It's not that you don't have, or not, it's not that we don't have time. We just don't feel that that particular thing is priority to us. And that's all it is. People prioritize things. It's not that they don't have time, or they don't want to see you, or they can't do it. It's just not of any significance or priority to them. And I say this to most people that I have conversations about time with. Unless you're like Richard Branson, Elon Musk, one of those guys who are obviously billionaires, yeah. And even those billionaires, they have time. You're nowhere near on that level. So don't tell me that you don't have time. It's just that what I'm offering, you don't see any value in it, which is fine. But don't tell me that you don't have time, because you do have time. I've just got to make you an offer that you can't refuse. Because if I told you, all right, Francis, meet me at Edmonton train station at 4:37 a.m. and 24 seconds on the dot, I'm going to give you a duffel bag, £5 million, tax free.
I'll be there at 1 a.m. waiting
Exactly.
for you.
There you go. You'll be there. And you'll exactly. That's what
I'll be waiting 1 a.m.
Exactly. So it's not that we don't have time. Is there value?
JB's laughing, but I will literally will be
That's the truth. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's just the truth. It's not that we don't have time. It's just if it's a priority, and if we see value in what you're offering. So that's my understanding of time. So in terms of how my day goes, I don't even know how to answer this question. I just find it. I just find it. If it's something that I have to do, then I'll just get it done. Like I don't procrastinate on things. I'm quick response on like my emails, and again, it just comes down to priority. If there's a message that comes through, if I don't see it as important, I won't respond to it there and then. If it doesn't need my attention there and then, I'll leave it for that time being and come back to it. And that's all it is. You just need to learn to prioritize your day better. It's time management. That's what it is, and that's what some people have, and others don't have it. So for those who don't have it, that would be something for you to get better at. It's managing your time.
Jesus.
And that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can get no more powerful than that. So what we do on this show is you close the show. I open the show. You close the show. That is your camera. Close it however you want to close it. A poet, an advice, a sing. It's all up to you. There's no rules to this.
I can't even remember this piece, but there's a certain message in this piece. I'll say what I remember, but I can't remember all of it, which is really bad. But it goes, inhale a moment and exhale a memory. Before bringing things into the physical, we have to envision it mentally. You see, we're going to come across setbacks, but that doesn't mean it was meant to be. It's all part of the journey, and I believe it was meant for me. You see? We're all born with a purpose. Some of us unlock that potential while others barely touch the surface. Stuck in a job where they provide a service and constantly feel unsettled and wonder what the urge is. Now, before we fail, we must first attempt. Let's start to take action with the things that we dreamt. Time is currency. Be mindful how it's spent. In order to make things right, you must make sure you have nothing left to give. You being present is a gift because you only have one life to live, so live.
Jesus, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what you're getting. That's what you're getting. Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure's been all ours. So.
Honestly, I could talk to you all night, man.
How often are we putting on the
What show?
Yeah.
I at this precise moment, I'll probably do it like quarterly, but I'm doing one next week, which is the 30th of August, but I'm planning on doing October, Black History Month. I'll definitely do something for Black History Month, October.
Yeah.
And then probably something quarterly thereafter, just because of time.
I know in the early stages of you starting off, there was a conversation between you and Kojo, and you was meant to perform something every week. How often?
Oh yeah. Nah, do you know what? So I like the exclusivity. And in terms of, the standard, I don't know if I can replicate that on a weekly or monthly basis. So I feel that me doing it quarterly is just enough time, just enough, the right amount of balance for me to consistently deliver there. And that's why I didn't want to do it weekly, bi-monthly, monthly. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been your host, Francis Koh. No, actually, I haven't, based on that performance. I have been your guest, Francis Koh, and Mr. Terrell Lewis has been the host.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for
you guys
coming.
Been amazing, honestly.
Literally, you have been amazing. And honestly, he's coming back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
he's coming back.
I will come back, man. I hope that's giving you some insight to me, man. Honestly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Francis, love, peace, and happiness.
Oh.
God. Oh. That's what I'm saying. You're forgetting your lines.
Listen.
Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen. Until next time, please don't forget to share, subscribe, comment, follow.
Oh, do you want my handles or you?
No,
guys,
we got you. We got you. We.
Sorry, no disrespect.
I told you I was the guest.
No,
I was the guest.
Sorry, that's cool.
Till next time, guys. Love, peace, and happiness.
Peace. That was dope.
Now we got you. So what we don't like doing.